Welcome back in. Welcome back in. Today we're going to be discussing Jonathan Taylor and his 2023 fantasy outlook. Currently, Jonathan Taylor is being drafted at RB4 or 13th overall right now. Currently, now there was some drama today. Right? When training camp was about to start, that Jonathan Taylor was going to be showing up. He showed up. He's there, so we have nothing to worry about there. But last season, he played in 11 games. He still handled 68% of the opportunities. He almost had 11% target share. He averaged about 17 and a half carries per game, 3.6 targets per game. He also had 861 rushing yards, 143 receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns, and 13.3 fantasy points per game. Now, he was not very efficient last year whatsoever, but there's a lot of things that went into this. But he was 40th in yards created per touch, 40th in breakaway run rate, 20th in yards after contact per attempt, and he was 20th in PFF's elusive rating last season. Now, like I said, he missed 6 games last season with 2 different ankle injuries. One with a high ankle sprain that was so bad that it required surgery after the season, but he is 100% ready to go into this season. He is at training camp. That is a positive. But this offensive line is the first thing we have to talk about. It was absolutely dreadful in 2022. They allowed the second most sacks last season with 60, and obviously it didn't help them. They had an absolute statue in Matt Ryan under center last year. That led them to bring in Tony Sperano Jr. to be their line coach this season. Now, there's a couple of things. We need Quentin Nelson to bounce back. He had the worst year as a pro last season, allowing 5 sacks, while he's previously allowed only 4 total sacks in the 4 total years prior. We also had Ryan Kelly at center, which has regressed each of the last 2 seasons. The biggest question marks will be third-year right guard Will Fries. He started to improve late in the season last year. They did add to the unit in the draft with 4th-round draft pick Blake Freeland and 7th-round pick Jake Witt. The tackles will be Bernard Raymond and Braden Smith. Smith has played at an all-pro level at times, and Raymond took a big step forward during the latter half of his rookie season. Overall, the Colts are projected to have a top 10 offensive line by PFF this season after finishing 23rd in pass blocking and 13th in run blocking grades last season by PFF. Now, another big positive is obviously going to be Anthony Richardson, but we're not really sure when Anthony Richardson is going to take over this season. There was some belief that he could start week 1. Now there's some talk that maybe Gardner Minshew starts the year, and maybe by week 9, week 10, something like that, Anthony Richardson could take over. Anthony Richardson is a positive thing for Jonathan Taylor. Now, while I think he could lose some targets because we know running quarterbacks typically don't check down at a high rate, but it's going to help him because having a mobile quarterback always helps the running back because it opens up the running lanes. You can no longer just stack the box and just attack Jonathan Taylor. That is not the thing that you're going to be able to do anymore. So Anthony Richardson is a net positive for Jonathan Taylor. The depth, there's no depth behind him. It's still Jonathan Taylor's show. Zach Moss and 5th-round pick Evan Hull are the guys that are behind Jonathan Taylor currently. Right now, the way I look at Jonathan Taylor is I don't mind his ADP. There's some other running backs you can make an argument for. I think somebody like Saquon Barkley would probably actually jump ahead of him now that Saquon Barkley's contract situation is taken care of. He did sign today, so that is a positive as well. But we're not talking about Saquon Barkley, but I do think Saquon probably moves ahead of him in terms of ADP. So I think you're going to be able to get Jonathan Taylor probably back half of the first or early second round once we get to your fantasy drafts here next month. But overall, I think Jonathan Taylor, I think he's in a good spot. I think he bounces back. We know he's going to be the absolute workhorse in this backfield. He's going to handle 70% of the opportunities. You have Shane Steichen coming over, being the new head coach here. He has familiarity with an offense like this. When you had Jalen Hurts, we saw Miles Sanders last season have double-digit touchdowns. I think Jonathan Taylor is a lock for double-digit touchdowns this year, as long as he can stay healthy. I think 25 touches per game is what Jonathan Taylor is looking like. So volume-wise, it's all there for Jonathan Taylor. Big question marks really is going to be, 1, when does Anthony Richardson take over? And 2, I think the other real big one is going to be the offensive line. As long as this offensive line can get back being the elite offensive line that it used to be, I think that Jonathan Taylor's in a fantastic spot. Volume-wise, it's all there. So Jonathan Taylor, look for him to bounce back in 2023. Let me know in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on Jonathan Taylor this season? Are you taking him? Are you scared away from him? But let me know in the comment section below. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.